Welcome
to Mind of Japan
podcast
podcast.
Episode 8.
Nana.
Oh.
Who's that?
So this month we have a great guest, Taka from.
Hello.
Where are you from?
Here in Japan.
What
Okay.
year?
Yeah.
But where in Japan?
From Hokkaido.
But you lived in many countries. How many countries have you lived in? He's counting on his fingers, by the way. I can't see that.
5 or 6.
It's amazing. I'd love to be able to do that. I've lived only in Czech Republic and Japan. So which countries were those?
Canada, Hong Kong, Indo,
India?
India, and Mozambique. 4 actually.
Okay. So which one's the best to live in?
Mozambique.
Don't you dare say Canada. Okay.
What?
Did you like Canada?
Don't answer that question.
Why? I like that.
Don't.
I like that.
Okay. Okay. So why is Mozambique the best to live in?
Why?
Is it the people or the place or the culture?
Gulf peoples and the atmosphere is good, but especially I can find new things every single day.
Okay.
Ooh.
I can surprise. You know.
It's exciting. That's
Yeah.
that's me in Japan.
Yeah.
I feel like that in Japan. Yeah, it's fun. So next you're going to live in India?
Yes,
Why India?
because I will work in India and to launch my company's branch. So
Nice. This month on the podcast, you can expect us talking about typhoons, Japanese language, loads of bullshit as usual, and finally, somebody who's Japanese will tell us if I'm full of shit or not. And we are recording this during a typhoon,
Yeah.
so this might be the last time you ever hear from us.
Language Quirk.
Let's go straight to the first part, which is about language. And I wanted to ask you, which word do you think is the most overused in Japanese? Every language, in my opinion, has one word that is used too much.
Yes.
So in German, it's keine Ahnung. It means whatever. I don't know. And you can say it in any situation. In Czech, it's vole, which means like dude, but you can say it in any situation.
Yeah.
In
And
American English, it starts with an F
Yes.
and ends in a UCK. Fire truck.
obviously. So which word in the Japanese language do you think people say too much?
Yeah.
I can say yabai.
Yeah, that's exactly the word I was thinking.
What's that?
Say yabai.
Yabai.
And nanka.
Yes.
What's yabai?
Yabai is the word everybody can say in any situation.
Wait, what is it?
So what is
what
it?
is
Can
it?
you explain?
It's an adjective.
Mm-hmm.
Emphasize things.
Anything?
Anything.
It just puts more emphasis on it. Can you
It's
combine
just-
it with yabai?
It's just like a response, isn't it? Like if you say the wind is getting really strong. Yabai!
Yabai. And it means everything, negative, positive.
Anything, just anything
Yeah.
you want to say, just say yabai. Like I was
Okay.
teaching one lady and she was really slow and we learned just how to say what the time is in 40 minutes. And then she says, oh, the time, yabai! So just say it in any moment, any situation. So can you give us an example when you last said it? Maybe, do you remember?
Yabai.
Mm-hmm.
I think I can use it when I'm surprised.
Okay.
You know, like someone give me a present. Oh, yabai.
Oh, really? Okay.
Arigato.
I wouldn't have thought of that.
Ah, yabai. Young people tend to use so much.
So just quickly, we talk about a lot of words that people say in Japanese on this podcast, and it's all my imagination and deduction that's probably not true. So just to confirm, if it's correct or not what we said on this podcast before. Last episode, we talked about Natsugashi. But if you say it in Japanese, it's really positive, isn't it? Like if you say Natsugashi, you're really happy
Yeah.
that something, you remember something.
Yeah.
But in English, it's if you say nostalgic, it's like...
Sad.
Yes.
Yeah.
Something like that.
So I was correct.
Yeah.
Natsugashi.
Natsukashi.
Okay. So another thing we talked about was gambaru. You said you hated this word, is it?
Yes.
Why do you hate it?
Because gambaru means try so hard.
Yes.
Right? But someone says gambare to someone. But someone doing very hard and then they can do more. For me, I try to do, but I can do it more. So it's just, you know,
Okay. I can see it could get annoying quite quickly.
I can tell someone gambare.
Hmm.
It's kind of harsh.
Look, is it harsh actually?
I feel so.
Oh, really?
You can say poor people gambare.
Okay.
It's hard. They're trying to, you know, scavenge
Oh, I see, I get it. Yeah, it's like,
picking up some bottles.
yeah,
They're trying so hard.
they're like barely surviving and like try harder.
Yeah.
Bitches, it's just terrible. Yeah, I get it.
We encourage them to gamba.
Oh,
The
okay.
short word. Like,
Okay, so that's a little bit more pleasant.
Yeah.
Okay. So next thing we talked about was onomatopoeia.
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 Onomatopoeia. which is your favorite?
なんやろな。
I like gucha gucha.
Disgusting.
Gucha gucha means it's a mess.
Yeah.
I like puni puni.
What does puni mean?
Like soft.
Oh.
Puni puni and then poemy is like bouncy.
Oh.
Puni puni.
Yeah.
Puni puni.
Okay.
It's just soft.
So which ones do you actually use?
Sara Sara.
Mm-hmm.
The smoothie.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sara Sara hair. You know that?
No.
Your hair.
Oh.
It's much like
Oh.
creamy or
Lush hair.
yeah.
Ah.
You can say
Like this.
Sara Sara.
I also like the one that's like stepping on sand.
Yeah.
I forgot. It's like
Zaku zaku.
yes, something like that. Why does it exist? What is the
I mean,
purpose
it
of this
sounds
word?
like it. Like the kind of like the sounds we use.
It's insane that there is a word for this. Like, why would you have a word for stepping on sand?
We use it in English, but we say crunch, like the same.
But that's like a multiple-purpose word that you use for like things that are crunchy. It's like
it
a
sounds
specific.
like zaku though. If you
Okay.
really listen,
Zaku zaku.
so it does.
Is there any other word that you think is strange or something that you,
Strange.
or something
I
that you?
don't feel any strange.
It's always strange to me.
It's not your native
it
tongue.
comes like from the Japanese poem,
Hmm.
which called waka. If you see the leaves falling down, which is hira hira.
No, nice. I thought there would be another guest on the podcast, but
Maybe he will come.
Watanabe-san.
Watanabe-san! 質問があります. Which onomatopoeia is your favorite?
Onomatopoeia.
Like in Japanese, if you say like pika pika, goro goro,
like-
gucha gucha.
To
Yeah. What's your favorite?
let me see. Maybe Sara Sara.
Oh,
Ah,
Same! Same!
same. 他はありますか？
わざわざ。
わざわ
What's
ざ。
that? What's that?
わざわざって。オノマトペア。
Kind of adjective.
What is waza waza? For
Yeah.
example? Like, is it like a food or place or people?
People's behavior
Okay.
coming over some difficulty.
Oh, I see. Overcoming some problems. Like if
Yeah.
you do it well, work it out. Waza waza.
わざわざありがとう。
Oh, okay. So you say to somebody like you did it
Yeah,
well.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Somebody brings some your stuff which you forgot to bring. Then you say わざわざありがとう。
Ah.
Can you say about you? I'm waza waza. Like that's how I understood it in the first place. No, I meant like you finished your project, so you were like waza waza. I did it.
We don't say it to myself.
Oh, okay, okay. Do you want to be on the podcast?
I need to do my packing.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Traveling tips.
So this month on Traveling Tips, what to do if you're in a typhoon, which I still don't know, and I'm in it. So if you're a tourist and the typhoon is happening and you're like on the street, what do? Last time it happened, we were in the studio, there were like 15 students and all of their phones started ringing with the alarms at the same time.
Yeah.
Really funny. Kind of strange.
So what do you do when you're outside? You just happen to be outside and a storm hits. What do you do?
Stay in the building.
Yeah, but you're outside. You
So
just go into a
Just
building?
find a building.
Yeah.
So is it better to go in a building or underground in a subway station?
In the building.
Okay.
The underground is unsafe.
I told you that many
I'm
times.
just asking. So how do you know it's a good idea to choose this building? Shouldn't it be like...
But now there is application for that.
Like which buildings to go to?
It depends on which disaster is, but there's the application for that guide you location or place is much safer.
Okay.
Yeah.
The people tell me I should have a backpack ready with food, water, and some clothes. Do you have that?
No.
Okay. So you should find a good building to hide in and then just maybe get under a table if it's an earthquake.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right.
Alright, so that's about earthquakes. I don't know what else to say.
What about typhoons? How do you stay safe? We're in a typhoon. Why are we talking about earthquakes?
Well, that's the first thing we talked about. Just stay inside.
Oh.
I guess so. We've never heard this strong one
Mm.
in the past 20 years, I guess. Like,
In the US, you're supposed to board up all of your windows.
yeah.
But I guess we have storm shutters, so it's okay.
What happened last week?
This month, loads of news as usual. So first off, I do loads of running. On the last episode, we talked about running. And I met more people running weirdly. And I also scared the bejesus out of a group of girls. I told Taka about it. So first off, I went running along the river. And one guy had a suit and a tie. And he ran like a robot. His arms were so stiff. And he had the full business suit. And he just ran along the river. Why would he go running in a suit? So it's okay. So then I went running. And if I do a lot of exercise, I eat too much, I eat bad things, and then I go running, and just processes. So I ran along the river, and there was a bunch of girls talking, and they were really, really happy. And when I run, I usually scare people because my face is red, I don't have enough clothes because I have really short shorts and a short t-shirt. All the Japanese people have jackets, so already I look weird with my long hair and sweating all over the place. So I ran around and I farted really loud. And the girls were like, no! But I guess they said, YABAI! So that was the thing. So now I scare Japanese people not only with walking too fast and looking awkward, I also fart too much. So is it acceptable to fart in public? Am I going to be arrested?
No.
Okay. Have you ever heard a Japanese person fart somewhere? It's a serious question. I need to know the answer to.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like natural
Of course.
human activity.
Alright.
So it's okay. But if you were living in Osaka,
Okay.
west part,
Go on.
Huh? Go on.
they're gonna make you
Like with a fart.
Like make fun of?
like you can do that. Like someone's gonna told you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this week's news is going to be all toilet humor and shit humor, I'm afraid. So the next
So
thing...
you're gonna tell me?
Maybe.
Tell the story.
Maybe.
You're gonna tell
Maybe.
the story.
Okay.
Say it.
More about it later.
Oh.
Next up, to not change the subject of defecation, let's talk about the Unka Museum. So what is that? I have no idea.
It's a museum full of poops. Huge poops. The colorful poops. Pink poops.
Yeah.
Green poops. Yellow poops.
Is it
Red
like,
poops,
is it like the
blue
poop
poops, purple
emoji?
poops.
Poop emoji that
It's worse.
Morgan Freeman
It's worse. You can.
like-
It's worse.
he voice acts as the poo emoji in the emoji movie.
Yeah.
So awful.
But you can like get little poops and put them on your head, and
Why?
you can also sit on toilets
Yeah.
and pretend you're poopy.
But why would you do anything
There's
like
poop
that?
coming out of the walls. You can put ice cream and there's poop everything.
Is it coming out of the wall?
Yes, it's
Yeah.
coming out of the walls, literally.
Okay.
It's poop.
Have you been there, Taka?
No,
Do
we
you-
should go there.
Do you want to go?
Ugh.
Yeah.
Okay, next up on the podcast, I hope you will come back and record it after we've been to the poop museum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's intelligence area.
What?
What?
That there is some art that shows unko,
Okay.
and there exhibit something related to unko,
Mm-hmm.
the poop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The area called intelligence.
Is it in Tokyo?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, actually, I do want to go. I want us all to sit on the toilets
Oh,
and
fuck.
pretend we're taking a poop, like straining it, and take a picture.
God damn it.
There's unko factory too.
Ooh,
Yeah, so if
what's it smell like?
if a person whose name starts with K is listening to this, I hope it's not going to mean he's never coming on the podcast.
Oh.
Because I'd love him to be on the podcast.
Yes, I would love it too.
Okay. So next up on toilet humor and just bathroom news. Taka, do you like Japanese toilets?
Japanese toilet?
Yeah, do you like them?
What?
I mean, they're different than European and US toilets.
Yeah.
So do you prefer the Japanese toilets?
Yeah.
Do you-
Because seats are warm, water is warm. The toilet creates sounds to
Mhm.
like interfere, like
Mhm.
do that,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
disgusting
just
sound.
to disguise the sound.
Yeah.
Right. So how are the toilets in Mozambique?
Whoa, don't tell me. Oh, God.
Well,
Don't tell me about...
first one, dig a hole
Yeah,
Oh!
of course.
Oh, God.
very deeply,
Oh, God.
and then
Oh, God.
prepare like water in the jar,
Oh,
Mhm.
God.
right?
Of course.
And then do it, just did it.
Mm-hmm.
After doing this, use that water.
Yes, obviously.
Yeah.
That's
And then
what I-
wash
Yourself.
the place. You know?
The place?
Yeah.
The hole in the dirt. You wash
Yeah.
it.
And after doing this, like after like months, I don't know.
Months.
Yeah, you can keep that. Like,
Okay.
You use same hole,
Okay.
and if it gets full, just bury it.
So it's just covering her mouth, like in
Yeah.
disbelief. So, is there a booth cabin on top of this hole, or is it just open wide, gaping open?
Open. Some people use grid on it.
I mean, do you go when you do your business? Is there a door to close, or is it just an open area?
It was covered
Okay,
with some
okay.
leaves or like trees. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not like the room.
Mm-hmm.
It's the area
Alright.
that covered with some
Okay.
something, you know.
Alright. Just take a picture of your food. So that's what I did in Morocco. I got food poisoning. I
Yeah.
had in Marrakesh, there's a huge square, and you go
Yeah.
under it, and there's a special bathroom, only bathroom in the whole city center.
Yeah.
It looks like it's the only place to go. It's a huge bathroom, and there are places where you can wash your feet, and people just have hoses of water, and they wash their feet, water
Yeah.
all over the place on the floor, and there's a huge wall, and loads of buckets on the wall. They look so slimy and disgusting. I just went downstairs like, I need to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
So I ran to the bathroom stall. Yes, I did. And the guy said like, sir, wait! You forgot your bucket. Sir, please take your bucket. So I took the bucket, and then he said, but sir, take the water. You forgot to take the water. So I went to the sink and just pumped the water in. And you have to go in there and then do your business. There's no toilet paper.
Yeah.
It's forbidden.
Yeah.
So I got all the tricks down because I was there 5 times a day. I think more, maybe like 10 times a day because I was really sick. So you have to like pull the trousers
Yeah.
to your knees so
Yeah.
you don't fall down.
Yeah.
you know. So another thing that's horrible is Greek toilets.
I don't know.
Have you been to Greece?
Lord.
They have really thin piping. The tubes are really thin.
Mhm.
So it's absolutely forbidden to flush any toilet paper.
Oh,
And it's very easy to clog the toilet.
Yeah, it's forbidden in China too.
Oh, is it?
For flush toilet paper. Yeah.
So how is it in China? What do they do with the toilet paper?
You have to throw it away. It's gross.
Where do you throw it away?
In the trash
Yeah,
can.
next to the...
Yeah.
That's what they do in Greece. But it's so hot and humid that,
Ugh.
Yeah.
that the bathrooms are just horrible.
Ew.
So how about other countries you've been to? Do you remember any interesting toilets?
Canada, it's a like normal one. India, it depends on where you do it. You can, in the mall, you can have like clean toilet. You go outside, like the city, there is no toilet paper, just the water, and then looks like toilet, and then the hole. Just do it and use your left hand.
Yes,
You can't use
yes,
right hand.
Exactly. That's the Morocco customs. You can't do anything with your left hand, or well, most of these countries. Because if you take money in the shop with your left hand, it's a faux pas. You can't touch people with your left hand. You can't take things with your left hand. You can't give things with your left hand. So, any other toilet stories from you?
No more terrible
But
toilets.
sometimes it's much safer because my like apartment in the carriage, same type of the toilet that we are using now, but I don't know how it's stuck in the pipe and it comes back. All those things. I didn't know. When I left the house, it was safe. When I came back, it was really stinky, disgusting, and then opened the bathroom, like covered of.
Ew, oh god! Oh god!
So there is pros and cons.
Pros and cons, I see.
Yeah.
So if you lived like until the rest of your life in India or Mozambique, would you have a Japanese toilet shipped to the place just to have the comfort of the Japanese bathrooms?
What?
Do you think it's like the best like ever? Do you think the Japanese bathrooms are like the toilets are so good? Do you really like want them even in other countries?
Yeah.
And so last story about toilets is a story I hate.
About you?
Yes.
It's the only one I'm willing to listen to.
That is the most disgusting.
That's right. I'm okay.
This is
I'm okay.
this is a short story I told on the first episode I ever tried recording the podcast. And
You said it happened more than once.
Yes, and since then it happened again. But
It what? 3 times?
No, twice.
Oh, okay.
I'm careful.
Sorry.
So this is something people told me not to talk about. So I'm sorry. The first time you're here.
Go on.
So parental advisory, if you don't want to hear about my shit, just skip 5 minutes.
Literal shit.
Yeah. So I went to Japan. I was doing all the things wrong. And I had to try the Japanese bathrooms because they are legendary in the world. People think, like, if you go to a fancy restaurant, you open the stall to the toilet opens itself.
Exactly.
Sometimes it sprays itself to
Yeah.
disinfect. It starts to heat up so
Yeah.
fast that when
Yeah.
you sit on the seat, it's so hot. How does it? It's insane. And there are these buttons so you can start the music.
Yeah.
And then, of course, after you're done, you can wash yourself with different settings. There is like the stream, like you can have a concentrated stream of water, or you can have a widespread. If you've ever played Contra, it's like laser and spread.
Oh, the washer.
So you can choose how direct is the is the
You can choose how strong
and how strong. Exactly.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and then you can change temperature too.
Sometimes.
If you're in the hot water.
Yeah. So I couldn't change temperature in the house where we are just right now, but I could choose the other settings. I was like, I have to try this. I have to have the authentic Japanese experience on the toilet. So I did it. The maximum settings and
Oh.
the most direct settings.
Yeah.
And it was intense. And it was fine. Everything's fine. I was fine. Got out of the bathroom, which I still don't understand what to do with the toilet paper, by the way, because you're just wet everywhere. How do you dry yourself? Are there bathrooms where they dry you? Like they blow hot air? And
No.
You just kind of dabbed to get some water
But
off.
so much water. Okay, so never mind. So I went out of the bathroom, and the door rang, and I wasn't wearing much clothes. So I ran upstairs because the postman was here, and I had to get the health insurance card. I really had to get it because it was important for the job. I was really stressed about it. So I ran upstairs and I hit my head real hard on the door frame. And as I hit my head, I had a weird feeling, like something's wrong. But I didn't know what was wrong. So I ran downstairs, dressed, and I had this thing bugging me in the back of my mind. I was like, what's happening? Why am I feeling so weird? And I didn't have time to check anything, so I just opened the door. And I talked to the postman, and he said, "Sumimasen, ping-pong oshimashita." Why would he say ping-pong? He just said, I did ping-pong. Like, rang the bell.
Yeah.
Do people say that?
Yeah.
So I took the letter, signed it, I came in, hit my head again because I was so stressed out on this door frame on the kitchen. I sat down in the kitchen, and I realized what happened. I don't think I have to say anything more, so...
Whatever. Did you like fully clean down there?
Yes, it was all clean.
Then what happened?
It was just water, but it was everywhere.
What? It's just confused.
I'm not going to say the details, but Taka gets it. Does it?
You said it was clean.
Yes.
But just
It
water.
was just water, but yeah. So
So it's just water.
yeah, it's okay, but okay. Has it happened to you?
No.
Okay.
But it's just water.
Had to ask. Okay, it's just water, but and that's it. So it happened again because now I'm scared of the bathrooms, so I don't.
Why did you just dry yourself?
Yeah, I just took a shower. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. But I
Thought the story was going to be much worse.
No, it's okay. I don't use it anymore. So
It's been of a lower city.
yeah. So I did the other thing. I did the spray thing, like
Yeah.
way too white and way too soft.
Yeah.
I just sprayed over my
Ew,
trousers.
no. You did a stream on a slow
And,
website.
and then you have to be careful when you try these things to not use the vagina spray. It's just the
The
front
vagina
spray.
one's nice.
Okay. So you use it regularly, do you?
No, I really
Yeah,
don't.
I do.
Yeah, I'm scared I don't. So that's it. You have survived the toilet story.
Yeah.
So
My goodness.
that's the news for this week.
Food and drinks.
So Taka, can you describe this drink to us?
Regarded as the simplest form of alcohol to be made from rice, Doburoku is sake that did not undergo filtering or processing after fermentation. It is different from your average cloudy sake because cloudy sake normally has the sake lees part filtered out.
Okay, thank you.
Should I continue?
Yes, but with the normal accent.
In
Okay, so if you wanted to say in short what it is, what is it?
unfiltered sake.
So this
That's loud.
it's definitely rice. It's definitely rice.
Yes.
Okay.
Please enjoy.
So
Don't call cum sake.
We're going to have a bottle of sake that looks like
stuff.
regular sake, which on the bottom,
No, it doesn't.
on the bottom, which in this case, majority of the bottle has a white substance that looks like jelly or other things.
It looks like worse than jelly.
Oh, this one is
You're not gonna have any? What's it smell like? Wee. Okay. Wait. Okay. Kanpai.
Kanpai.
Yeah. Ugh. Ew.
It's intense.
Yeah.
Even the textures.
The texture's
Yeah.
intense.
It's a rice.
Oh god.
I kind of like it.
It's like porridge, right?
It's the texture's like porridge.
Yeah.
Like really. I like it. It's not sweet. It's tastes like sake, but with this interesting like aftertaste.
Chan doesn't recommend.
So have you ever had this before?
Yes.
So which one do you prefer, this or the regular sake?
The regular
Oh.
one.
Yeah.
But it depends on the which brewery produce. Like, depends on the rice. Taste is totally different. So
Before we mixed it up, it looked like there was a bunch of stuff in the bottom and like jiggled.
yes.
So strange. Now that it's mixed up, it's like porridge. do you drink it hot or just cold?
Cold
Okay.
is better.
Maybe it just dissolves in like...
Yeah.
It's kind of like smooth. I like it better than the regular sake.
It's the brand name of the week. Get ready, it will be weird.
Are you ready to have your mind blown? Do you want the best flavors you can get? We started it. All other places are just imitation, but we still have our secret.
What is place? Is it a kitchen or a restaurant?
This, my friend, is the origin of all things, the mother of all kitchens. This is where it all began.
Kitchen origin!
So stupid.
Japanese video.
We have survived the typhoon, Taka has left, and we have to finish this podcast.
Yeah.
So,
You said Taka left?
yeah,
Aww.
he didn't have time to continue the podcast. But this time on Japanese character video weirdness, it's Aggrestuko, which is from English. It's Aggressibu Retsuko.
What?
Retsuko is a Japanese name. Aggressibu, do you know what it means?
No.
What do you think it means?
Like aggressive?
Of course. So it's Retsuko and she's aggressive. Why is she aggressive?
Because she's an OL and she hates her job.
OL means like overworked, lazy person.
No, it means office lady. It's Japanese
Oh.
English.
So she's a really insanely angry working lady, but she cannot let anybody know. So she goes to a karaoke and she becomes a monster.
She gets this intense metal singing voice and she disses everyone in secret.
This is a part of the Sanrio character series. The Sanrio has all these weird characters like Gudetama and Hello Kitty, so this is another one. It's all in style of these characters when you watch it. It's really simplistic and cute. And the voices are very cute.
Yeah.
So some of the characters that are included are overly wobbly, dancing, and overly enthusiastic, talkative hippos.
Yes.
And gorillas and cranes that walk on a street like bosses. A kangaroo that's buffed up and cannot
Protein.
cannot say anything like than protein or protein.
Protein.
Any other characters you remember?
I really like the gorilla, the way she walks. It's really nice. And I like Aggrestuko's best friend, Pinnacle, because she laughs like
What's the animal? Is it a fennec? Animal?
Yeah, Pinnacle Fox.
Fennec a fox.
Yeah.
And Aggrestuko is a red panda.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's the cutest of them all.
But also, The one that's like, Senpai! She's cute too. Tsunado-chan.
Okay. So this is about 2 years old or 3 years old. It became really popular. I finally watched it.
Yeah.
So we have seen the first season. How would you rate it? Would you think it's better than other anime? Like, it's very different. It doesn't give me the anime bullshit vibe because I know what's happening. I have a problem with anime that every time some action scenes happen, I have absolutely no clue who is who, what happened, who is the man, who is the woman.
The one we watched, it replayed it for you so you could see clearly.
Okay. Yeah, perfect.
Okay, but for rating wise, I've watched not a lot of animes, but enough animes that I give it about a 6 out of 10.
Okay.
I mean, it's very entertaining, kind of gives you a look into the office life and why some Japanese girls have some certain way of thinking about life. But it's just that. A very simple slice of life anime with a slight bit of quirk.
Yep.
So it's entertaining and a nice start to people that might be uneasy about jumping into Japanese anime.
Yeah. I really like that I always know what's happening, which is a big problem for me. And I also enjoy exactly what Chen said. You have an insight into the culture. It's weirdly accurate. All the scenes that happen on the train, in the office, that's what it's like in Japan. And they mention things that are cultural, typical tropes that actually happen. So it's not making things up. So that's a nice thing. You can watch it really quick. Each episode is about 20 minutes. So if you want to see something and have an insight into Japanese culture, working lifestyle, it's recommended.
The thought of the day.
So this week, which became 2 months, on the thought of the day, I'm going to go right into it, head first, deep all in there, because somebody said this is their favorite part of the podcast, and they were disappointed that in the last episode I said it should be simple, and I didn't explain something weirdly complicated and nobody understands. So I'm going to do it again. And also we got a reply that you don't say enough. And you should... Okay.
I'll start saying it more.
You don't have to, but I like it. And the listeners love it, I guess. So this week on the podcast, I'd like to talk about stereotypes and perpetuating habits and stereotype. And it's all unrelated, but it's related. Believe me.
Okay.
So the question is, can you model your behavior using stereotypes in such a way that it could be a good thing? Because I hate stereotypes. So let me talk for a while, and then it will be a mess, and then we can discuss some ideas that will probably be difficult to understand. So first off, I always hated stereotypes. I always was understood to be as a programmer, and I was never very good at programming, but people thought I could fix every problem with the computer, and everybody just put me in this box. So then I became a language teacher, and it was like, okay, you can speak languages. And then I became like a long-haired, bearded, weird person, and everybody was like, okay, you do the weird things. And, and now I'm just something, I don't know. But the point is, I never liked when people just put somebody in a box just because of the nationality or because of the things they do. And it always pissed me off. I hate it. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I like when you flip it on its head and try to use this for a good thing, which probably doesn't look like it's related. But what I'm talking about is doing things in your life so that they would make you think a certain way.
And I've seen a bunch of TED Talks and read about this on the internet, and it's sort of proven that this happens, that if you like frequently look at something or have some kind of meaning that you frequently come in contact with in your life, it actually changes your life. The weirdest thing is the name. So if your name sounds like let's say you are called Mr. Run Fast, so there's a high chance that you will be an athlete. If your name sounds like
But that sounds self-fulfilling.
it is, but that's what I'm talking about. If you like want to use these things for something to change in your life or something to do in your life more, then it helps. Like with names, people who have things in their life that remind them with their meaning of something they want to do, so then it could help them actually do it. So that's the point. Like, it's a stereotype that you associate with something, but you use it for an actual good thing that happens in your life. And I try to do that. I believe that success in your life is hidden behind simple things that don't take any effort, and you do them for a long time. So if you have a lot of plans and willpower and stuff like that, it doesn't really help. But what helps is making your life work in such a way that you are constantly reminded of the goal you are trying to achieve. So, for instance, my password is something that I want to do. And I keep typing this password every day. So every time I type the password, I am reminding of it. Do you know, by any chance, what my passwords were in the past few months?
I can guess.
You can share it if you want.
I'm pretty sure the password for something says literally, "I'm going to quit." It's okay. I don't know who listens to this, but never mind, you can connect the dots. Another thing that I really like about Japan is how it's difficult to get fat. Like, you honestly have to try. Like, there are things in Japan that make it difficult for you to become unhealthy. And if you want to get fat, it takes some effort. And all these things model your life like in such a way that it's a little bit uncomfortable to get the snack. It's a little bit uncomfortable to drink something really sweet and unhealthy. It's a little bit uncomfortable to overeat. And it all results in people being happy and like healthy. I really like that. I'd like to put more things like that in my life, so the things I'm trying to accomplish will like happen like fluidly and on its own. And that's what I'm talking about, if you know what I mean. Yeah. But those aren't necessarily stereotypes, are they? They're just things that happen to be in our lives and we push them a little bit further.
Could be.
Like your name. It's not a stereotype, it's your name.
Well, if the name is associated with something, by default, that's what I would call stereotype.
Well, yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah. Like with, I have a lot of computers at home, I am bound to do more stuff with computers. Like the last half year, I haven't had a good computer. Mm-hmm. And I think it significantly changed what I did.
Yeah, sure.
So now there is a powerful computer in my room. And I'm scared.
Thanks to Chan!
Yeah. So that's what I want to say. It's a whole thing. If you're interested, I'll put some links in the notes. There are some TED Talks where they talk about labels and names, and it's weirdly scary to me how strong this effect is. Like if your name is something, or if you every day see something on your door, or if your house is just a little bit smaller, or if something happens, you think it's insignificant, but it just pushes you, nudges you every day a little bit until you like fall into something. So
isn't that just life?
It is.
All the dots just connecting, like every little thing mattering, like just with any and everyone and everything being connected.
Absolutely. So that's what I want to use, like, for my own purpose. I want to model
You're
these
trying to
things.
harness this power.
Yes, that's the thought of the day.
Can you harness stereotypes?
Yes.
So I just summed it up for you guys. Can you harness stereotypes?
So that's the thought of the day, and I believe you can, and I believe it's really useful to do. So if you want to do something, anything that like nudges you a bit in the direction of the thing you want to do, just put it somewhere in your life. Okay, so I hope this was understandable. And that's it for the thought of the day.
Japanese music.
So thank you for listening. Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to episode 7, which is an awful mess. There are guests and like roommates leaving and talking and making noises and typhoon and all this is disorganized. All this episode is horrible.
Tell your partner. You can say it.
You just said it.
That's the way you say it.
Yes. So what Chan just said was to have prdeli. Which we have these discussions about Czech language, and a very popular phrase, because we all like swearing, in Czech is to say something is fucked. And in Czech you say it's prdeli. And it literally means up the ass. And you can say this about anything. You can say that the podcast is up the ass. So it's like, it's screwed up, it's fucked. So it would be tenhle podcast je teda v prdeli. Or you can say I am up the ass, which means I am fucked and my life is horrible. Or you can say this project is prdeli. It's like, yeah, so anyway, never mind. So it's important vocabulary that Chen has to learn. So next lesson, next podcast will hopefully be better. So see you next time.
Bye. Do you want the best flavors you can get?
Maybe